Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Kalvish here. Today I've got for you guys a arena commentary of a couple rounds of this solo shuffle and of a threes game that goes very long. The reason I'm going to show you guys these games is to try to help some of you understand and get into the mindset of finding your win conditions, specifically with dampening. So if you don't know me, right now I'm number one on all of the ladders on Sub Rogue. I'm number one in threes on Sub Rogue. I'm number one in Blitz on Sub Rogue. And in Solo Shuffle, I got number one from, I think, this lobby with an 80% win rate on my second Rogue, which you can see here. So to just get right into it, guys, basically, what I'm going to be attempting to explain here is how dampening can completely change your strategy and change the way you want to play. And this is going to be super important to play around in solo shuffle specifically, but there is times where it matters in threes, which I will show you guys that as well. So in this lobby here, before I fully play it, we have double Resto Shaman, Warrior, Ret Pally, DK. If you're a sub-rogue player, you know how obnoxious this lobby looks on paper. But even though it's an annoying lobby and it's going to be hard to find windows because of the CC they have from the Warrior and the peels they have from the Shaman and the roots from the Shaman and the peels from the Ret, rather, there's still ways to win, which you guys are going to see here. So overall, in my opinion, I think Sub-Rogue is the best DPS class in the game in dampening. And the reason this is, why could this be, right? It's obviously because Sub-Rogue has a ton of crowd control, and you can pick and choose when you want to be attacking someone, since your damage is not specifically reliant on uptime, right? So in this game, you can already see what's happening here. Me and the DK are actually just sitting behind the pillar, and we're waiting. Why are we waiting, right? Because if we're going to be trading globals and doing damage with the Ret and the Warrior, that is just going to be losing. And what this means is our win condition is most likely going to end up being we want to CC the Warrior while we attack either the Shaman or the Ret Pally and Damp, which I'm going to speed this up a little bit because these rounds are quite long, but you'll be able to see in these games, and I'll point out some of my decisions, what happens, and when your mindset should kind of shift on when you need to start slowing the game down a lot. Because obviously at the start of the game, dampening stays at 10%. I believe in solo shuffle, it stays at 10% for a minute, and then you can see here, it rises up very, very quickly throughout the game. So right now, at this point, I think I've fully realized that my team is taking a lot of damage, and we're going to want to be setting up our win condition by surviving and just slowing down the Warrior on all of his cooldowns. So in the future here, in these future goes, you guys will be able to see that I'm either going to be slowing down mostly the DPS and not prioritizing CC on the healer as much, and instead trying to win with damage. So here we end up getting the Warrior's parry. The game is not looking great for us, though. We're actually losing on cooldowns. Even though they don't have trinkets, they still have Ret cooldowns, and I believe we only have Spirit Link with no trinkets. But here we do a go on the Shaman, and we get Link and Bubble and Sack from the Ret. So at this point, as long as you don't stand here and tank them, we're going to be winning here. You can see here, even though I don't have DRs for anyone else, I don't even press Dance, I kidney the Ret Pally just to stop them down, slow them down a little bit, and then I just do damage. And the Ret Pally actually dies here if my DK is attacking him, but he did not realize. But that's okay. It doesn't matter too much, and he's taking a lot of damage. But you can see right here, look at the dampening here, right? Team is all 60% HP, it's 58% dampening. We just got Bubble from the Ret, and the healer is off stun DR. But I stun the Warrior instead of stunning the healer here. I actually instantly go for it, and I even use my last Shadow Step to stun the Warrior here, right? The reason behind this, again, is because as dampening ramps up, the value of healing obviously gets lower, and the value of DPS goes higher. So your priority on CC, as dampening goes higher and higher, it'll be more and more and more important to CC a DPS as the game goes on. You can even see right here, again, I'm not even stunning anybody else. I kidney the Warrior in a cheap shot into a full blind, which unfortunately breaks, but we end up having disarm anyways, and I believe we barely pull out the win here in dampening. I think my DK ends up killing him through Bob. Right here. So The Shaman had Trinket this whole time. I did not... When was the last time I stunned the Shaman? 40 seconds ago, I stunned the Shaman, but I still win the game. You know what I mean? It's not conventional way to play Sub-Rogue to not CC the healer. Normally, how you would want to play is you obviously want to set up CC on the healer and then go with DPS and stuns, right? But sometimes it is a very, very, very viable strategy to prioritize CC on the DPS. Ideally, the DPS that is going to kill you or that you can shut down, like a warrior where their uptime matters and you can shut that down. But in dampening, you want to prioritize CCing DPS most of the time, I would say. Honestly, this happens a lot to me in solo shuffle because there's a lot of times where dampening just gets really high in solo shuffle, right? So this round is a lot of the same stuff. I think I'm going to skip through it a little bit because I want to keep this commentary kind of brief. But you can see here, I'm trying to use the DRs on the warrior as much as possible here. I end up trying to do a play on the shaman. Doesn't work out, but doesn't matter too much because the game, I don't have to win in a minute, right? I don't have to win. They're the ones that are basically set on the timer because eventually the CC will be too much for them to keep up with from the Sub-Rogue. So it's fine to not get pressure in the first minute. It's fine to not CC the healer as long as you understand your strategy and your game plan. Here, I actually kill the Link before it ticks on the warrior, which is nice, but I don't think it ends up being relevant. Here, I get the Ret human trinket. It does not show on S Arena, but I kidney a DPS here, right? Healer's off stun DR when I go for the kidney, but I kidney the Ret here. It's not actually to cover Sank. It's literally just to slow the DPS down, right? Like, I just want to slow the DPS down and get the cooldowns that I can while keeping the game slow and trying to stay as healthy as possible for my team here. So you can see, again, we're running. We're trying to play for the dampening. Here, I'm going to kill the static field totem. And I'm waiting a second. But the strategy will be the same. I cheap shot the warrior here. And now we get Sank. And I assume I should go kidney the Ret here. I assume that's what I'll do. Or I go him in cheap shots. Yep, I kidney the Ret here. Same thing. Ret has no trinket. He's stuck in this. I even gouged the Ret off of this. It's all the same thing, guys. It's all the same thing. And then look at this. I end up cheap shotting the warrior. And then I go the shaman without even stunning him. Because the shaman has no wall too, right? I don't even have to stun the shaman right now. But I cheap shot the warrior, and then I dance the shaman without stunning. And this gets the warrior trinket, which ends up being pretty important, I believe. If I'm remembering right. I disarm the warrior on his cooldowns here, and he can't trinket it because he trinketed the cheap shot, right? I think this game still goes a little bit longer, though. End up killing the shaman because it is, again, this is where we're kind of winning, right? We want to end up winning here. And I think the warrior does die. Okay. A lot of the same stuff. This round I play incorrectly, actually, for the first half of it, if I remember right. How we should be playing this round is I should basically never be stunning the healer, actually. My Ret should just hodge the healer every 30 seconds, and then I should CC the DPS, right? So to pause for a second and talk about, or go back to what I was talking about earlier, right? This lobby is hard for Rogue because even though, like I said, Rogue is the best Sub-Rogue is the best dampening class in the game, Ret Pally is probably the second best damp class in the game. Because if you make it to dampening on a Ret Pally and you still have your cooldowns, that is like, even in a losing matchup, you can just win because you have immunities, right? You have immunities, land hands works through dampening, you have a ton of cooldowns, ton of defensives, and you have your utility to help deal with dampening. So, what comp are we playing here, right? We're playing Sub-Rogue Ret Paladin versus TSG. Are you guys seeing where I'm going with this? Our win con here is going to be literally running around and doing basically nothing and trying to make it to dampening, at which point, if we make it into dampening with cooldowns, we should win 100% of the time. So the way that these rounds will probably look is we're going to take a ton of damage for the start of the round, but as dampening ramps up higher and higher and higher, it'll be more difficult for them to deal with our pressure, and it'll be harder for them to push through and get our cooldowns than it would be at the start of the game. But to be fair, we also play this start of the game incorrectly. It is a solo shuffle, but if this was a threes game, for example, the technically right way to play would be to actually run around a pillar for 10 minutes until dampening stacks up really high, and then we would just kill the DK and dampening. In Shuffle, that's a bit hard to communicate, though. That won't always happen, but it does kind of end up happening anyways, I believe, which we'll see as this round keeps going. There's a point where I realize, you can see right here, I'm just lining damage. I could Kenny the DK here, but the Warrior isn't connected yet, and the DK also didn't connect yet. I end up Kennying the Warrior, cheap shotting the DK. Shaman's off stun DR, but I'm putting stuns on DPS, not even CCing the healer, right? Same stuff here. Probably disarm the Warrior in a second. Yep, I disarm the Warrior. He hodges the healer. It's looking a bit rough, but again, this is because we're not playing it correctly. We should just be on the pillar running away. So they end up getting lay on hands here. So we don't have lay on hands, which is okay. But obviously it'll make the game harder. And we can see the game, right? Like, look at the health on my team versus their team. We're all 40% HP. They're all like 70, 80%. But the damp is starting to get to them, right? The damp is starting to get to them, if you guys can't tell. They end up getting Bop here. Completely fine. Because they also have no cooldowns right now, right? So I believe we still have Link. My Ret has Bubble and Trinket still. And they have no Trinket or Link. And no Trinket or IBF from the DK. So the DK is actually in a lot of trouble soon. Like, very soon. And we should actually win the game soon, but you guys are going to see something interesting here that I do. I just blinded the Warrior. The Shaman has no Trinket, and I blinded the Warrior, right? Why did I blind the Warrior? We're going to see in a little bit. But it's, remember what I was talking about? The healer does not matter. It's 70% dampening. The healer does not matter. He can barely heal through wound poison at this point. So the way that we're going to win is not by CCing the healer. It's going to be by CCing the DPS. I just put a full Kenny on the Warrior while he has no Trinket, the DR after. And I don't really remember. I think we do win here. Yeah, we do end up winning off of it. And this is all with 0 CC on the Shaman, by the way, I think, right? Yeah, 0 CC on the Shaman. He cannot keep up with the healing. But the only reason, look at all of our HPs, the only reason we can win is because I'm slowing down the Warrior, right? So this round is a lot more interesting. I believe I typed it in the gates, what we should be doing. I think I say we should run or something. Yeah, we should just run. I end up sapping the DK, and then I swap it to the Shaman, but none of this matters, right? Any cooldown we get here, the only, like, I literally press Trinket here to try and cheese kill him, because it shouldn't matter, right? Both these teams should be alive for, like, 3 minutes, probably. So we're just gonna just not take damage, and we're going to slow down damage as much as we can. Here, I stun the DPS, and I stun the Warrior on his cooldowns. Shockwaves me. There's going to be a lot of the same stuff here. Still just running away. Put a gouge on the DK. Probably going to Kenny the Warrior or the DK very soon without ceasing the Shaman. Kenny the Warrior right on his Warbreaker. His entire go is shut down now. I re-cheap shot the Warrior instead of the DK, and then I disarm on his Warbreaker. So the Warrior's been completely shut down on his entire setup here, which is great. We're just going to want to keep doing this, because remember what I said? If we make it to dampening with cooldowns, the game is unlosable for us. Subrog very powerful in dampening. Subrog also has types of immunity cooldowns as well, with evasion and cloak, right? Not exactly immunities like Ret, but still immunities in a way. Here I do end up stunning the Shaman just because I went for a step kick. I don't really lose anything for it. You could argue this gouge is actually a mistake. This gouge should be on the DK, which you'll see here. My Shaman kind of it's not too bad, but he takes some damage here. Just should have been on the DK. It's useless to gouge the Shaman. Why would I gouge the Shaman? We got nothing from it. Here I've stunned DR back for the Warrior. I'm probably going to Kenny the Warrior in a second. I end up Kennying the healer because the DK is low. This could also be argued as a mistake. I don't think it's too bad because we still have every cooldown, so we're not exactly scared, right? It's fine to try and force something. And we end up getting AMS, Death Pact, and Healing Tide from the Shaman, but you can kind of see the pressure that is put on us because I'm not slowing down the DPS, right? So you got to pick and choose your moments a lot of when to be CCing DPS versus CCing healers, especially in solo shuffle. And here I pressed evasion. I actually don't know why this Kenny was half on the Warrior. You can see the DR is off, but I Kenny him, and it's a half Kenny for some reason. Oh, no, I actually intentionally, like, 3-point Kenny'd him here. I remember this now. Yeah, so I could have waited here. I don't think it's the worst, the 3-point Kenny him, because I think I end up blinding him anyways. Yeah, I do. I just didn't want to build the combo points, and the result is basically the same, right? It's like 2 seconds off the 8-second CC chain or whatever. So Warrior sends his pop now. I go ahead and disarm it instantly, and then I'm probably going to stun him off of this, I assume. Maybe I'll stun the DK first. Nope, I stun the Warrior first. I'm not even stunning the DK yet. I end up half-kinning the Warrior here, and then I cheap shot the DK. Still no CC on healer until my Ret hodges him, but we're not actually losing the game. This round is a lot better than the last one, too, because if you look at the cooldowns here, we have literally every single cooldown here. And then I believe in a second here, there's, I do the same thing that happened last round, where the Shaman has no trinket, but I just CC the Warrior instead of the Shaman to get his trinket. So I think we'll see that in a second here. I think I remember kenning the Warrior here. Yeah, I kenny the Warrior, and he trinkets aggressively, right? Because he also knows that is 80% dampening, and he needs to be attacking things. And what happens? I disarm him on his Warbreaker. So he trinkets the kidney before Warbreaker, right? He hasn't Warbreaker yet. He trinkets. He rallies out of the slow. He presses Warbreaker, so he's wanting to kill my Shaman here. And then I disarm on the Warbreaker Sharpen. So now we're completely fine. My Shaman should have wall back in a second. Ends up trinketing this. And I think we just win the game here. Yeah, because look at this. Sack, bubble. I think I cloaked here. I still have a vanish. Like, it's 83% dampening. There is literally no healing coming out. But we have cooldowns to fight back with it, right? So I think that's going to be it for the solo shuffle. The big things is just, you want to be looking at the dampening number. You don't exactly have to be looking all the time, but keeping in mind what dampening is, and you should think about if dampening is going to favor your team or if it's going to not favor your team in the solo shuffles, especially shuffles like this, right? There's more often than not, you will win if you make it to dampening as a sub-rogue. More often than not, especially in solo shuffle because of how fast it ramps up. So playing for the dampening is completely fine to do, and you don't always have to be doing perfect setups, especially into some brick wall type of comps to make that happen. So for these games, I'm going to skip these games. It's Warrior Rogue. We end up losing this. The Warrior went 0-6 in this lobby, actually. If you're curious about what I think we should have done here, I actually type it in the gates to my Shaman. I think it should be a pure healer race. My Shaman should just go over here, and then me and the Warrior should hit the Shaman over here. I think that's pretty much the only way we can win, because these classes I can't really slow down, right? If I kenny a DK, his dots and pets are still doing damage. If I kenny a Ret, the Ret isn't doing much damage in the first place, and that means I'm not getting the DK, right? So it's not exactly the same as being able to slow down a Warrior as to one of these classes. But I actually don't think it's that bad of a matchup if we do a pure healer race and my Shaman drags the DPS out so that the Ret can't use his utility on his Shaman without sacrificing uptime on our Shaman. But that's going to be it for the solo shuffle. Now I want to show a threes game real quick. This was played yesterday, and this is, if you've ever played Windwalker Rogue before, you should know that Ret Warrior is going to be the hardest matchup, no matter what healer you have, no matter what healer they have. But in this case, we are actually fighting the hardest variation, in my opinion, because we have the priest on our team versus the druid on their team. What does that mean? It means that even if me and my monk are running away, our priest is kind of sitting still, right? Our priest is going to be sitting still, and he's going to be a target the entire game, basically. So our strategy this game, we've played this in the past. We've done multiple goes before. One of them was a type of fear go where we do kidney on the Warrior, and then this druid, he stacks a lot because our CC breaks. It's actually really good what this druid does. I'm surprised more druids don't do it. But he stacks a lot, and it's good on Resto Druid because it makes your soul rejuves bounce to the entire team, and also CC breaks on you, and also your Warrior can Zerk your fear, and also the Ret's closer to Sank, and it's a very good thing to do. But in this game, our strategy before was to kidney the Warrior, and then we double fear the stacking Druid and the Ret, and then we do a go on the Warrior, and then after that, we can do chastise the Warrior, in-cap the Ret, and go the Druid, or we can do it the other way around and go the Ret. I just said a lot of words, very interesting way of doing goes, but we realize that even if we do it perfectly, they actually just end up completely out-trading us, and we just end up dying or going before we can win that way. So what we decided to do this game is, you can, if you noticed it already, we are playing fully for the damp here. So I actually sap the Ret twice, and then I think I blind him. Yeah, I blind the Ret here. And you can already tell that this is just going to be a complete dampener here. So we're trying to do, we get kind of an opener. We get the Druid Trinket Bark here, but We know that none of this matters. They have too many cooldowns to deal with. I'm also playing double disarm here, where normally I play tricks for my Windwalker Monk, but since we're playing to damp them, we're playing double disarm and just disarming the warrior over and over. So you'll be able to see here that we're not going to really be doing goes much, kind of just going to be CCing the DPS and doing what we can with damage while also not taking damage. You can see we're actually just running immediately. So I probably can either ret here. I am going to speed up this game. This is like a 10-minute game. I might skip through it a little bit in a minute or so, but I just want to be showcasing exactly what I'm thinking. So here they meme Hodge my Druid, and I cheap shot the ret on their go, and I probably cheap shot the warrior now into disarm, just doing damage. No cross CC. We end up getting a sweep. It's like all random, right? Like just random CC, but it's not actually our goal here. Our goal is to live for 10 minutes, and if we're looking at it already, Priest is like 95% mana. We still have every single cooldown in the game. We haven't pressed anything. And we're just running away. Look at my monk. He's just running away. We Angel. They can't hit anything. As soon as Angel ends on my priest, I stun both the DPS, and we're just out of there instantly. I end up trinketing this, restun the warrior, and look at this. Look at the warrior. The warrior leaps in, gets on my priest, but he's not having a great time in this game. He gets incapped on his demolish. He's getting completely shut down. Here the warrior pressed Zerker Rage earlier, so we can actually set up a fear that sits on the warrior. We get skin here, but we're not actually doing it for the skin. We're doing it to put the warrior in as much CC as possible and try to win in dampening, right? So that's going to be our win condition, or what we're attempting to do for this game. And if I skip forward here a few minutes, you'll see it's a lot of the same stuff. Look at my priest mana as I skip forward here. Still full mana. We still have Bulwark proc, the cheat death proc. We still have GS. My monk still has every cooldown. I'm probably pressing my cooldowns randomly here and there, but this is a lot better than what it would look like if we were actively trying to win the game. We're 7 minutes in, and we still have like 70-80% mana. And I think I'll end up playing it from dampening here, or maybe I can play it from right here. Both these guys off DR. Kenny the warrior first, going the druid. And we actually end up getting more cooldowns playing this way than we would actually trying to set up goes, because we're just safer, right? I blind the warrior here. Druid has no trinket, and I blind the warrior into gouge. And my monk disarms him now. So the warrior's disarmed, and we fear him. The warrior's literally having zero fun this game, right? Warrior's popping now. My monk leg sweeps him on his cooldowns, and then I re-cheap shot him, and then he gets ropped. He gets ropped away on all of his cooldowns. We go the ret here, and now my priest angels the one time he can connect. You guys see where I'm going, right? So if we keep going forward here, I believe the game ends here. Let's see what happens on like this DR right here. Warrior demolish, he sacks the warrior. We end up triple leg sweeping. We get bark skin from the druid. Re-cheap shot the warrior. They sit a fear. We're still 60% mana. My priest isn't even pressing GS. He's had Bulwark the entire game. I half disarm the warrior here. We rop him away. And I think we just end up killing the druid here. Yeah, he trinkets. They double trinket, but the ret has nothing. He doesn't really have anything to save him. And even then, I'm still playing to slow down the warrior, right? I'm still playing to slow him down. Try to cheap shot his trinket there, and I didn't get it, but we end up getting the win anyways. So, if you guys take anything from this, the main takeaway should be that you don't always have to... You don't have to kill people with your stuns, you know? There's more creative ways you can win the game, and it's not so one-dimensional as just stun a guy and press Shadow Dance on him and cross CC the healer. It's not like that at all. Subrogue has a very, very oppressive toolkit with all of the stuns you have, and the disarms, and the gouge, and the blind, and, you know, there's and mobility as well, and Subrogue is very, hard to catch, and you don't have to play it in such a one-dimensional way. There's so many ways to play so many different matchups where a lobby that can be completely terrible for you actually ends up in a warrior going 0-6 when this is probably the best warrior lobby on paper that you could ask for, right? As a warrior is really good into cleaves, and it's also considered to be very good into sub-rogues. So, I guess I would just recommend trying to play for dampening in your games, guys, and when you load into a game, you can think to yourself, are we favored if we make it to dampening, right? Are we going to win if we make it to dampening? Are we going to lose if we make it to dampening? If we do need to make it to dampening, how do we get there? Is it going to be by CCing the warrior? Is it going to be by CCing the demon hunter? Is it going to be by blind sapping the rogue over and over, because that's obviously you can't do that in a warrior, but there's also games where I'll, for example, cheap shot in a blind and a sap on a DPS. You can be really creative with your toolkit, and you don't have to be scared to just send a CC. You just want to send your CC over and over. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. These games are all streamed on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Kalvish. And if you guys enjoyed the arena commentary, then leave a like and a comment and subscribe to the YouTube. And let me know if you guys want to see more of this. But either way, thank you very much for watching, guys. Good luck in your games. Peace out.